everyone, welcome back for a brand new box office prediction video, kicking things off with my Fantasy Movie League recap. I'm still not back in the top group from week to week, but I will say something. Consistency counts because I'm up there with the overall season, but when it comes to week, I just can't compare to some folks out there. And yet again, a number of you got perfect lineups. They are Ace Money 1138, Drew's Nickelodeon, Furiosa, Zingbot Studios, Delmar Dennis, Wrong Way Cinema, Meza 711, Alaskan Pipeline, Dances with Lineups, Millennial 8, The Force A. Nathans, Mos Eisley, Rampage, Secret Service, Akeem and his princely robes, and The Matrix. A huge congratulations to all of you. I'm happy for you, but of course I'm also a little jealous. I want to be back in the top again, maybe next weekend, maybe down the line, who knows, but what I do know right now is that I wound up going 5 for 5 with my top 5 last weekend. It almost wasn't the case, but it did turn out my way. Of course, we had Ant-Man and the Wasp topping the charts. I thought I was right on point with that one at the end of the day on Friday, but then it did see a pretty big drop on Saturday, and it wound up totaling $75.8 million. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom came so close to losing that number 2 spot to Incredibles 2, but when the actuals came in, Fallen Kingdom posted $28.6 million, and Incredibles 2 followed right behind that with $28.4 million. Then at number 4, it was Newcomer, The First Purge, which took $17.4 million for its 3-day weekend, followed by Sicario, Day of the Soldado, which took a pretty big 60% hit, but still managed to snag $7.6 million, which was good enough to top Uncle Drew for the 5th position. Moving into this weekend's predictions now, I am actually flip-flopping Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with Incredibles 2. Yes, I do think Incredibles 2 is going to see a bigger drop this weekend because of Hotel Transylvania 3, but given Fallen Kingdom's performance thus far, and also at the point in time that I'm recording this video, what ticket sales are looking like, I do think they're going to switch positions and that Incredibles 2 is going to top Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Last weekend, Jurassic World saw a 53% dip. This time around, I want to bring that number up to, let's say, 55%. And if that's how things pan out for Fallen Kingdom, it's only making another $13 million this weekend. Now, of course, moving over to Incredibles 2, for this one, I'm looking at Finding Dory yet again, specifically Finding Dory's 4th weekend in theaters, because that was the weekend that The Secret Life of Pets first opened. So when Secret Life of Pets opened, it made $104.4 million first weekend out. There is no way that Hotel Transylvania 3 is touching that. So instead of giving Incredibles 2 Finding Dory's 50% drop that weekend, I'm going to bring that percent change down to, I don't know, let's go with 45%. And if that's what Incredibles 2 winds up losing this weekend, it is going to top Fallen Kingdom and make another $16 million. Now here's where we get to one of my bolder predictions this weekend, because at number 3, I've got Newcomer, Skyscraper. So one of the good things about there being so many Dwayne Johnson-led movies out there is that it makes box office predictions just a little bit easier because it gives me a lot of comparable films to work with. And it's probably no surprise where my mind immediately went with this one is one of his more recent releases, and it was Rampage. That movie opened with, I need to move Dewey so I could see that number, that movie opened with $35.8 million. Funny thing, Dwayne Johnson's last collaboration with director Rawson Marshall Thurber, Central Intelligence, that movie also made a similar amount. It is $35.5 million. But back to Rampage here. Rampage, when it opened up, it had a lot less competition than what Skyscraper is facing this time around. Rampage was dealing with the opening of Truth or Dare and also A Quiet Place, which was in its 2nd weekend in theaters that weekend. And I've also got Hotel Transylvania 3 in mind right now, not necessarily because they're going to steal viewers from each other, but because when I look at current ticket sales, it just looks like Hotel Transylvania 3 is far outpacing Skyscraper. So with this one, I actually think I'm going to come in under projections, which ranged from 30 million to 35 million, and say Skyscraper is going to open up with $25 million this weekend. But I want to put it out there that Skyscraper is a lot of fun. So if you look at those promos, you like Dwayne Johnson in action films, I actually do recommend it. Moving on to my number 2 now, that is where I have Ant-Man and the Wasp. For this one, I'm using Spider-Man Homecoming. And yeah, I know Spider-Man Homecoming opened much bigger than Ant-Man and the Wasp did, but the thing that's similar about the two of them is the drop they saw making the move from Friday of their opening weekend to Saturday. So just to give you a sense of what that looked like, for comparison, Doctor Strange dropped just 3.7% on Saturday, whereas Spider-Man Homecoming fell 27% and Ant-Man and the Wasp fell a whopping 30.2%. Back to Spider-Man Homecoming though, that movie in weekend 2, it dropped 62.2%. I'm going to bring that number down to 60% for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that gives it about $31 million for its second weekend in theaters. Now it is time for the number 1, and that is where I have Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation. The Hotel Transylvania movies are not really for me, but there's also no denying that those movies found a real audience. So looking back a little, Hotel Transylvania, the first movie, it opened up in 2012, and opening weekend, it made a really solid $42.5 million. Then, in 2015, the second movie came out, and it topped that with $48 million of its own. With those first 2 movies, though, I do think that the September release date helped them out because of the lack of competition. However, I also have to consider the summer season is the summer season at the box office for a reason. It's a lucrative time, so I do think that that might wind up pushing Hotel T3 over those early projections, which I think were about $35 million. So I think it is going over that, and I also think it might go over the first movie's opening number. What I think could keep it under Hotel T2's opening weekend is the fact that we have Incredibles 2 in play right now. When Hotel T2 came out, it was something like the first studio wide release animated movie in, I think, 2 months. And of course, yeah, we know Incredibles 2 is going into its 5th weekend in theaters, but it's still in play big time right now. And that's why with Hotel T3, I'm landing at about $45 million for its first weekend in theaters. All right, Dewey, it's recap time. I'm gonna wedge these notes out from under you and remind you guys that I went with Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation at number 1 with $45 million. Ant-Man and the Wasp came in at number 2 with $31 million. Then I've got Skyscraper taking the 3rd position with $25 million, followed by Incredibles 2 at number 4 with $16 million. And then at number 5, it's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with $13 million. Now that you've got my numbers, it is your turn. Hit that comment section below, share your rankings and your numbers for this weekend right there. And of course, head on over to Fantasy Movie League. There's a URL and a password to join the Predictions with Perri League in the description of this video. Now it is Patreon shout out time, and I've got a big group to give a shout out to this time because thankfully the campaign is growing. So today's shout outs go to Sergio, Dustin, Jefferson, Andrew, David, and Gregory. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please don't ever forget how much it really means to me that you're here supporting the channel, and really a huge thank you to anybody who's even looked at the Patreon campaign, because the fact that I've hit 2 cards for this shout out right now, it is just so special to me, and please know not a day goes by that I'm not thankful for it. So again, guys, thank you for your support. Thanks to everybody watching this video right now. Please like and share it, and we'll check back in next weekend to see how we all did on our box office predictions.